Hi guys, here is Sexxtape for the Kill the Noise style bass tutorial. In this tutorial I will show you how to make three kinds of bass that you can hear in a lot of Kill the Noise productions. Don't worry if you don't have exactly the same result, this bass processing can be complex and long, so it depends of a lot of elements and it's almost impossible to have exactly the same sound. But if you follow all the steps of this tutorial, you could have very similar results. Don't forget to check out the description for get all the presets you need. Okay, for the first part of this tutorial, we will make this bass. Okay, let's start. For the main bass line, you need three different layers and open FM8 on 3 MIDI tracks with these kinds of settings, with these presets. The Kill the Noise bass layer 1 for the first layer, the Kill the Noise bass layer 2 for the second layer, and the Kill the Noise bass noise layer for the third layer. Okay, so now you can write your melody and make sure that all your layers are playing in the same tone. Okay, for the first layer we want a sound with low frequencies and a little bit of growl. So start by modulate the oscillator F with the oscillator D as you want and automate it like that. You need to create movements and growl with your sound. Okay, so automate it as you want. So now you can add a little bit of distortion. So I use the Isotope Trash 2 with only the Trash module and the Filter 2 module. Check out the description for get the preset I use. So listen. Okay, so now you can add a notch filter to your sound. And now, yeah, you can add a notch filter for add movement and a little bit of phase effect. So it's really interesting. Okay. Now you can equalize your sound, and don't forget we want a sound with low frequencies, so that's the reason why I boost this sound at around 150 Hz. Okay, so boost your low frequencies and cut the frequencies you don't like. Yes, cut the frequencies you don't like because the distortion can add a bad saturation to your sound. So that's the reason why I cut these frequencies at around 1000 Hz. Yeah, and you can cut your very high frequencies. I low pass my high frequencies at around 4000 Hz. And I high pass my very low frequencies at around 100 Hz because your sub layer is playing here. Okay, so now you can compress your sound. And don't hesitate to re-equalize after compressing if you think you need it. So cut the frequencies you don't like, and yes, you can boost the harmonics you like. Okay. Um, Transform your sound to mono, because this layer don't need a very wide stereo image. So that's the reason why I transformed this layer to mono. And finally, for this layer, I add two filters, a low pass filter and a high pass filter, and modulate your sound as you want. You need to create movements and add dynamic to the sound. So automate your filters, and yes, modulate your sound as you want. Okay, the first layer is done. So now we will make the second layer. So use the Kill Noise Bass layer 2, and yes, modulate the F oscillator with the D, with the oscillator D. Okay, so now you can equalize your sound. So cut your frequencies you don't like, and boost the frequencies you like. So I like the frequencies at around I like the frequencies at around 300 Hz. So I boost it. And don't hesitate to cut your very high frequencies. So now I add a saturator with this kind of setting. And I add the isotope trash 2. Yes, so check out the description for get this preset. This is the preset Kill the Noise Bass layer 2. Okay, so now it's time to create formant and yes, formant and movements to your sound. So add an equalizer and try to create vowel or formant to your sound. You have examples in your equalizer of Ableton. So this is in equalize EQ8. Go to formant, and yes, you have vocal A, vocal E. Yes, you can. So you can work with it, but I think it's more interesting to create your own formant filters. So try to do it. Yes, so automate your filters, your equalizer, and try to create interesting formant. Automate it as you want. I add the wow filter by Sugar Bytes. I don't automate it. It's just for increase the formants. Yeah, it's very filthy. Okay, I add a second equalizer um, for create other movements and other formants to the sound. Uh, there is no special rules for that. Uh, try try you need to try different different settings for have the best sound. Okay, now you can equalize your sound. So I cut my very high frequencies at around 8000 hertz, um, and I cut the frequencies I don't like. Yes, and when you modulate your sound with your formant filters, make sure that your bass is not clipping. Make sure it's already green. It's sorry. Make sure it's always green. Okay, so now you can compress your sound. And add two auto filters like the first layer and automate it as you want. So I just automate the low pass filter um, because this filter is for cutting is for cut the low frequencies because your first layer is playing at around 150 hertz. So I cut the low frequencies at around 400 hertz or 300 hertz. Okay. Now you can add your first layer and equalize the level. Yeah, it sounds nice. Now you can add your third layer with the kill the noise base noise layer. This is a really simple preset. You don't need to automate operators. Yes, I don't modulate the operators F. I just add an equalizer and boost my very high frequencies at around 11,000 or 12,000 hertz. And yes, I cut the low frequencies at around 8 and 50 hertz. Yes, 850 hertz. Because the second layer and the first layer playing here. So now you can compress your sound. Okay, and add two auto filters like the other layers. Yes, and automate your filters as you want. You need to create movements and add a little bit of dynamic to the sound. Okay, your third layer is done. Now add your second and first layer and equalize the level. and make sure your 3 layers are not clipping. Okay, now group your different layers and add an equalizer and cut the frequencies you don't like. So I think there is some bad frequencies at around 2000 Hz. So I cut the frequencies. Yes, you can hear the difference. And now there is a very important part. I use a multiband compressor, so add a multiband dynamics to the sound, and yes, compress each band as you want. These steps depends a lot of your sound, so there is no special rules. Yes, the sound must be growling and dirty. And before, yeah, it's really different. Okay, now add a WoW filter by Sugar Bytes. I use the band reject preset, the band reject filters, and yes, I use the vowel O and the vowel U. So yes, select your favorite formant and automate the filter as you want. Yeah, it sounds really good. Now equalize your sound again and increase your high frequencies at around 5000 Hz and your medium frequencies at around 300 Hz. Yes, and I think it's better when you decrease a little bit your sound at around 1000 Hz. Yeah, I prefer. Okay, so now add a compressor and compress your sound. And that's all. Your first bass line is done.